incredibly close in Nottingham
Ready.
just a couple of weeks ago. Joe Conter's reached me in the commentary box here, former British #1.
Yes, sprinted the few steps.
Derby looking to get off to a good start here. She knows she's the underdog, but before this match she said really she's got nothing to lose, Harriet Dart.
Yeah, I think both players will be having those kind of beginning of match jitters and nerves, and you can see Katie Boulter in the back bouncing around, equally Harriet. So the more tennis they can get under their belt in this first couple games, the better.
That was a tentative return of serve from Boulter. Dart overcooks the forehand. A bit of danger here in her opening service game of this match.
I think it's also one of those situations that in the beginning of a match you want to make sure that you get your feet under you quite quickly, and almost sometimes overcompensating your movement around. I think both players then might feel a little bit nervous in the legs, so those adjustment steps are just coming a bit harder.
Good hold of serve and a positive fist pump from Harriet Dart. There's just a little bit more, it feels, riding on this game, this match. Both players will be aware, won't they, Joe, that there's a lot of eyes on it. Great story. British #1 and 2 going head-to-head for a place in round 3.
I mean, it is, but I think it is one of those that it will mainly be chatted about completely outside of their day-to-day context. So again, it's something that is more chatted about in press conferences and media, and we chat about it and whatnot. But for them, going through their routines, going through their day, getting ready, it won't be as much of a thing. At the end of the day, they're playing a fellow competitor wherever they're from, and they're looking to take care of things on their end and adapt to their opponent the best way possible, and try and win a tennis match.
Left.
That was my fault. I accidentally pressed the button. Sorry for everyone's ears at home.
It was my cough.
I think it'll also be interesting to see between the two players, because both of them will be looking to take the initiative. So firstly, which player is able to do that more often, and ultimately also which player doesn't get as frustrated about not being able to do it when they want to.
(30-15). (40-15). Game Boulter.
A game apiece. No blink yet from either
One
British
game
start.
on first set.
I think both of them were quite pleased to just get their own service game under their belt. I think both of them will feel the importance of giving a good showing on each other's return games and trying to put the pressure on the server.
Love 15.
Sun's directly overhead.
15 on.
Moment. Harriet darts, ball toss disappearing right into the flare.
Harriet dart is challenging the call on the right far sideline. Ball was caught out.
Boulter was making some great connection with those forehands. Hitting really deep, pushing dart back.
15-30. Harriet dart has 2 challenges remaining.
Half a chance for Boulter to move ahead in the early stages.
(30).
I think I'll be interested to see actually how much Harriet is able to use that body serve with Katie. Just asking Katie to move quickly out of the way of the ball. Not an easy thing to do, especially when you're as limmy as Katie is.
Deuce.
It's a bit of good fortune there with the let court. However, I think Katie did a good job in holding the ball. I think Harriet was moving the other way from her split step there.
Bullseye from Dart.
It's a really clear
Advantage
construction
Dart.
of the point. I think Harriet will be looking to get Katie on the move. Both players will be looking to do that to each other, to be honest, and it'll just be about who's able to do it sooner.
Deuce.
I think this is the kind of getting stuck in when it comes to your opponent's service game, having these battles here, making Harriet feel like she has to work hard to win her service games.
Oh, Harriet Dart, all aggression.
Advantage Dart.
That was good moving from Harriet, and I think she saw that shorter slice, drop shot slice, come from Katie's racket, and she got there in plenty of time.
Game Dart.
She gets there in the end. It's still on serve.
Dart leads by
Stages
2-1.
the first battle of Britain here on No.1 Court. You said, Joe, it's ultimately just a game of tennis.
It is.
What is it? Is it just
It
a game
is.
of tennis? Is there something in Katie, something in Harriet that wants to beat this opponent more than any other because they're teammates? There's a rivalry there.
I mean, I can only speak from my experience when I played against my teammates, and Heather was the main one I played against, and I didn't have any sort of that extra motivation when it came to that. For me, more than anything, I actually wanted to stay in my own lane. I wanted to just focus on things on my end and just leave it up to the tennis. I was very much about, you play the tennis on the court, but you don't take it off. Well, I can't speak for these two. I don't know.
They've been saying similar things in their press.
Well, then we have to believe it.
There's just the player in front of you at the end of the day. But for Harriet, she said a little bit of extra motivation. That defeat, tight defeat to Boulter in Nottingham just a couple of weeks ago.
Also, I think the biggest motivation more than anything is a chance to be in the third round of Wimbledon. It's not specifically who you're playing to get there.
Both players, of course, have been there before.
Love 15. Let second serve.
Stunning stuff from Dart.
Love 30.
That was a good response from Katie's there as well. I think both players, like I said before, will be looking to take the initiative as quickly as they can, including on the return, but it'll be important to see that within the points, how aware are they of where the ball is. So it's good to see Katie moving in off that ball.
Let first serve.
Take the drive volley.
Matching.
Strawberry bucket hat.
It's a cult figure at this year's championships, the strawberry bucket hat. It's the one to have.
Have you got yours yet?
Oh, nipping to the shop later.
30-40.
Whopping forehands from Boulter. She was under some serious pressure.
This is a great inside-out forehand, really moving Harriet wide, but Harriet did a really good job with that slice ball, and again Katie just held the next one, waited for Harriet to move and hit into the open space.
First break point of this match dealt with.
Boulter. News.
chance for Dart.
That was good moving from Harriet there.
Dart.
Stayed really low through the ball. She's been doing a good job in getting extra balls back, asking Katie to stay solid, which she just hasn't been able to do as well as Harriet, I think, so far. Great response with that first serve. When it's firing for her, it really is a good plan A and backup plan.
Deserted her a bit in her first round match, didn't it, against Tatiana Maria? Served particularly well. Serve looking in good shape so far for Boulter. Of the shoulders.
Advantage Boulter.
She is again, Harriet Dart, such a frustrating opponent to play against.
Yes.
She's like a terrier, isn't she? She kind of grips on and hangs in, doesn't let go.
I think when she does lean into that asset of hers, because it is an asset, that is when she can be really effective against her opponents, when she is accepting of just really getting stuck in. It asks her opponent to play consistently.
Strange decision from Boulter.
Advantage Dart.
I don't think Harriet Dart could quite believe her luck.
I think it was one of those situations where it was quite an awkward ball coming back from Harriet, and the ball moved quite a bit. I think maybe Katie was thinking she should have gone right at Harriet, but again, that's where maybe we're playing a compatriot can be a bit awkward in that situation. Nice to see a good battle on Katie Boulter's serve as well. We had one previously on Harriet's serve.
But it's Boulter who's facing the break points. Beautiful stuff from Dart. She set up a fourth opportunity to break the Boulter serve.
She just missed it.
Oh.
Advantage Boulter.
I swear I saw a puff of paint.
She just missed it. I think it was one of those where...
Oh. I'd be challenging that. Can commentators challenge?
News.
Space in the Boulter box for boyfriend Alex de Minaur to join after he's showered and done his press. Just beaten Jaume Munar of Spain over on No.3 Court.
I mean, poor Alex, I think he spoke in equal amount as being a tennis player and Katie's boyfriend. I feel for him, bless him. He's in the 3rd round here as a #9 seed.
It's Wimbledon. Better get used to it.
Advantage Boulter.
As long as I don't start calling him Mr. Boulter, bless him.
Alex de Minaur Boulter is a pretty cool name. Huge roar. A release of relief for Boulter. That's it over the line.
Two
What a
games ball
test.
first set.
Could see what that meant to her there, Joe. Releasing some of that tension that was building up over the course of those 10 minutes of pressure.
Also, I think she just wandered over to her corner there. I think it had a bit of confirmation,
Thank you.
bit of an exchange to maybe alleviate any worries. There's a good pace behind that ball from Katie. Just really shooting through, making Harriet catch it a bit late.
Second round in 2022. Round 1, the loss for Dart last year. She said it was heartbreaking.
Fifteen on. Fifteen 30.
3 double faults for Harriet Dart.
Also just having a slight chat with her coach there. That had a benefit of the recent rule changes.
A bit of strapping on her knee. She picked up a bit of a knock at Eastbourne last week.
On.
I can't imagine that either player feels that great yet out there. You can see a few balls are being sprayed, and I think both of them are just tussling to find that rhythm.
(30-40).
Break point opportunity for the British #1. It's the unforced error count pretty high, with only 4 games on the board.
News. Advantage, Boulter.
Rotsova just trying to calm Harriet Dart's frustration.
I mean, it has felt that all points have ended with either player making an error, spraying a ball. It hasn't been comfortable for either of them.
Game, Boulter.
Boulter has the break. British #1 with her nose in front.
Boulter leads by 3-2.
They'll be fuming about that.
Yeah, I mean, she was visibly annoyed with how things are going out there, but I think this is actually the situation where you actually have to be comfortable with not feeling comfortable and not see it as a permanent state, not see it as something that can't change. The match keeps moving, and I think it's important to know that. And so I think, I think it's really important to acknowledge maybe in this space that Katie might just be a little bit more well-oiled just because of the season she's had. She's won a lot of matches, she's won titles. I think she will understand the importance of just hanging in there and not reading too much into your level at any point in a match.
Those are the right T-shirts to be wearing today on #1 Court. Jack Draper and Cam Norrie to come. So a break for Boulter. Chance to pull ahead in this battle of the Brits.
Left. Left.
But all too common slight slip from Harriet. That's so common on the grass. It's something that we're just so used to. However, Katie doing a good job in responding with that break under her belt.
40 left.
Wind playing around out there now.
Game, Boulter.
Much more straightforward service game for Boulter. Holds to love. Now there's a little bit of
Boulter leads by
blue
4-2 first set.
between these Brits.
I think that was a really experienced response from Katie there. After that tough game, just really took care of things on her serve. Lots of good big first serves, following up by big second shots. And that's encouraging from Harriet. I think that's what we need to see more from her as well, just really knuckling down into those rallies, trying to extend them. You'd slightly favour Harriet, I would think, on the longer rallies when there's more movement involved.
15 all.
So that serve for Dart is letting her down a little bit at the moment.
$30-15. $40-15.
Katie just checking with the chair umpire there. You sure? You definitely sure? Okay. There's always two types of challenges. The ones where you're sure, or the one where you're hopeful.
Gamed up.
Nicely played from Harriet Dart. She stays in touch. Boulter ahead, 4-3.
Boulter leads by 4-3.
Let's just have a quick look at the balance, really, of this match. The statistics. Katie Boulter almost twice as attacking as Harriet Dart, who's having to play, obviously, a much more defensive game, given that Katie Boulter's trying to keep these rallies short. She's using that big serve.
I think this is not a surprising stat when it comes to the two players and their slight variation in how they play. I think Katie looks to be in the attacking position. That is really what she's charging for. I think that's what Harriet wants to do, but I think she's also more comfortable and she's able to defend quite well. I think what I found most interesting with that stat, however many times we've seen it, is there's the majority of the highest numbers is always the one in the middle, where it's neutral. So it's actually, the numbers are so small usually on either side.
Well, a player can't be on attack all the time, can they? I mean,
Well,
that's
no,
just the nature of the game.
Exactly, but I think that's where it just shows that a lot of players have to be in a position where you're just trying to find your way. It's not, it's vastly not going the way you want, generally.
You have to think on your feet.
Exactly.
Left. Let first serve.
Katie,
30-15.
again, with a great serve, just moved up very well to that ball, swiftly.
Out. Harriet is challenging the call on the left baseline. Ball's called out.
And it was
40-15. Harriet Dart has one challenge remaining. Game Boulter.
Fist clenched from Boulter. She's a game away now from taking the first set.
Boulter leads by 5-3. First set.
I think it's a fair assessment that so far neither player will be particularly pleased out there with how they're playing. There's a lot of sprayed errors, and I think it's really about who's able to just ride this wave and make the best of it more than anything.
Love 15.
And so far, Katie has, I think, just been dealing with this situation a little bit better, rolling with the punches, not getting as frustrated with things not going her way when they haven't been.
Oh, stunning. Even Boulter has to applaud.
15 all.
Look at that.
It's well held by Harriet there.
Inch perfect.
Ah! 30-15.
Hitting from Harriet Dart, such a tenacious competitor,
40-15.
fighting to stay in this first set.
Great moving from Katie there. I think she was anticipating, looking for that ball to take it as a drive volley. Was ready to move forward.
Full flow.
Deuce.
Double fault creeping in at a vital time for Dart. 6 so far in this match.
Advantage Dart.
It's a bit better, that body serve again. It's been really effective.
Yes.
I think the rhythm on the serve is probably frustrating Harriet there. I mean, you can see on the double fault count, she is reasonably high for not yet a set of tennis played. But it seems to be also be coming at really unfortunate moments as well.
Big moments.
Left first serve.
Is to keep her cool. There's a whole load of pressure on that second serve.
I think it's also one of those situations where
Advantage
the
Boulter.
more you lean into the frustration of it, the more it exasperates the problem as well. It's a tricky balance of letting out any emotions you might feel towards it, but also not giving it too much time because you end up feeding the beast.
Of frustration channeled into that serve.
I think it's tricky to play a match like this where both players have been spraying balls, but when it is kind of when there is so much kind of stop and start within the level itself, it's hard to keep that physical tightness up, and it almost kind of, the errors feed each other a little bit.
Well played, Harriet Dart. And Katie Boulter will have to serve for the first set.
Boulter leads by 5-4 first set.
Boulter just taking her time to head back to her seat. As you say, just so many errors from both players, really. Noticed that from Katie during her first round match against Tatiana Maria. Forehand getting a little bit loose.
Yeah, I think it's a fair assessment to say that neither player will be feeling that particularly comfortable out there. Neither of them will be feeling like they're playing that well, and I think it's just this situation where it's important to not get too involved with that feeling of feeling frustrated and just keep trying to move forward, keep your feet going. Start simple, take care of the little things.
As far as Katie Boulter's concerned, I think, just like Emma Raducanu said, winning ugly, as long as it's a win.
Yeah, and that term's a big part of tennis. I think we spoke about it yesterday, that you generally, out of 100 matches that you play in a year, 10 of them are dog poo bad. you know, or and then 5 or 10 of them are brilliant. But the rest are really in the average category and different variations of average. And I think the higher you can bring your average level, the more consistent you'll play throughout the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please refrain from making noise during the point.
There was a bit of a crash just before Katie Boulter hit the serve.
Yes, so that's a different situation if it comes onto the court.
Pulse. Katie Boulter challenge call left service line. Ball was called out. Second serve.
I had that moment there where I thought I saw a bit of chalk come up.
Okay, I'm glad it's not just me.
30-15. Katie Boulter has 2 challenges remaining.
Bit of smile on Katie's face there. It's nice to see when this is a fairly stressful time in the match, when you can have a little bit of humour and see the bright side. Both players against each other hitting that back behind ball has been effective. We've seen a lot of that actually, I think.
2 set points for the British #1. Boulter takes the first set against her teammate, her rival, the British #2, Harriet Dart, trailing.
6 games to 4.
Boulter with 1 foot in round 3 for a 3rd time. It's playing the slightly more consistent tennis, Katie Boulter, throughout that first set. Dart, you could sense the frustration building for her, the serve letting her down at key moments in that first set. Boulter just able to keep her nose in front statistically.
Yeah, and again, we spoke about this yesterday. I'm not a stats person, I think that's no secret anymore, but when it comes to a single stat that I will look at, it will be the second serve points won, and I think that actually says it kind of says a complete story about what the set was, and I think there you can tell that just alone on that set, alone on that stat, that she was the one that was just a bit more consistent. She was backing up her serves a bit better. She was just getting a few more balls in where it mattered. Both players were spraying balls. I think that there's no secret with that, but it just felt like the few key moments that Katie was just a bit more tight and a bit more solid.
And for Harriet Dart, you know, that head-to-head tally between the two of them, 6-1. Dart hasn't beaten Boulter since 2018. You know, is there an element that sometimes as a player that you play so frequently that it does get in your head that your last victory over them was a while ago?
I think it does, and I think it can for sure.
Second set.
I think that's one of the things that you have to just deal with yourself.
Harriet Dart looking for a reset here then. But Katie Boulter has never lost against a British opponent. Some statistic.
Funny enough, you saying that statistic, I didn't realise that. But I remember when Anne Kyothawong used to play, and I don't know if she'll even remember this, but it's somehow really stuck with me. I don't even know if she was saying this to me or just heard the conversation, but she always said, never lose to a British player. So I hope Annie Kay's hearing this, because I remember when she said that.
Never lose to British. See, it's not just a match, this.
Well, not for Annie Kay.
Thought there was more on the line.
30-15.
But I think back to that head-to-head of it heavily favouring Katie, I think that's where Harriet needs to just deal with that internally, kind of put that to the side and focus on the game plan, focus on what can win her points, what can make her effective against Katie.
40-15.
And then equally, I think there is some stress that can also come with being in Katie Boulter's side of that stat.
Alex de Minaur's made it through the showers fast as possible. Well, that's a really good, solid start from Harriet Dart, bouncing back from the disappointment of losing that first set.
Second set.
You mentioned Anne Kyothawong and her reluctance to ever lose to a British player. The last time there were two British women who met in the women's singles here at Wimbledon 12 years ago in 2011, and it was Anne Kyothawong who beat Naomi Brodie.
So she stayed true to her own motto there.
Her mantra.
I hope she remembered this, otherwise this will be so awkward for me.
It's good advice, anyway.
Love 15.
Lost one of them already today. Lee Miyazaki has been defeated.
Love 30.
Just a bit more solid from Harriet there. Giving her a small opportunity here to possibly get ahead in this second set. Would be the first time, I believe, in the match.
Net first serve.
Is fighting back here.
Love 40.
The crowd have woken up too. You can hear the Harriet dart fans. They want a contest.
$15.40.
Wow. That bounced before it reached the net.
It just got slightly framed at the top of the racket. Even happens to the best of players.
Especially when the sun is right in your eyes.
Yeah, and dart.
Well, there was a bit of a slip from Dart. The ball from Boulter slipped through the baseline.
That leads by 2 games to love, second set.
We do have a contest on our hands.
$15 left.
Jumpers come off for Alex de Minaur. He's feeling the heat. Final winner to put away.
$30-15.
It's a definite split in the crowd now. It's almost as though they've decided who it is they're backing here.
$40-15.
This is much more solid stuff from Harriet Dart. Look at the size of the smile on her face. 3-love lead in set two.
Leads by 3 games to love, second set, first set, Boulter.
This is exactly the start to the second set that Harriet Dart needed. Joe, what is it that's going more in her favour at this stage?
I mean, I think just fairly simply, she's just making less errors.
Her serve looks a bit more solid too.
Yes, I think genuinely she is just making more balls, and Katie just hasn't been able to kind of almost hop on from, kind of use that first set under her belt as a bit of a bouncing board. It's kind of she hasn't quite been able to use the momentum from that, albeit there wasn't much momentum to take from it.
Well, that's the problem with the kind of bitty first set. Boulter kind of came out of it on top, but
yeah, it is a fairly cold match when it comes to that. Which is just the way some matches are, unfortunately. It is just... But there's still a lot of tennis to be played, so who knows, we might still get some blockbusterness.
bit of a chilly first set, but it's Harriet Dart with the burners on in the second.
Ball was called fault. Love 50.
There are just, I think, too many errors coming off too early off the Katie Boulter racket for now.
Led for serve.
Particularly on the forehand wing. Boulter is making the most errors. 7 unforced errors on the forehand side this second set alone.
Love 40.
Huge dip from Boulter in momentum. 3 break points for Harriet Dart. It's very useful for Katie Boulter to have a big serve to dig her out of trouble. Needs a couple more of those.
.40.
She's racing away with set 2.
That leads by 4 games to love, second set.
I think Harriet was also trying to engage the crowd there, pull them even more to her side.
Love. Let's center.
Another errant forehand from Boulter.
30-15.
She's losing these longer rallies, Joe. Dart's got the upper hand.
Led first serve. All.
Got Morozova urging Harriet Dart on. It's all about the tension. Can Boulter get one of the breaks back? Wow.
Yeah.
Dart serve just deserting her almost entirely at the end of that game. Boulter does have a game on the board. She does have one of the breaks back.
4-1. Second set, first set, Boulter.
There's something, isn't it, that Harriet Dart really needs to sort out, because if she can extend her lead, if she can take this second set, at some point she might have a chance to serve out this match. At the moment, she doesn't look like she'd be capable of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, it hasn't been pretty, I guess, and she won't be pleased with how she's serving, obviously. I do think that is a section of her game that can be prone to break down, so I don't think this is unknown territory for her. I mean, currently, I think Katie is helping her along in the other areas of the game. I think Katie hasn't quite found enough solidness to really show that serve weakness. So I think that's why also Harriet needs to just keep moving forwards, just keep a perspective on the fact of being solid from the back. I think that also will help her serve along. I think it's sometimes when she can get in her own head about it a little bit. And we can just see there the kind of speed on the ground strokes of Harriet, how they have improved in that second set. I think that comes with the confidence.
Just too easy to read.
And I think that's where you just have to take good feelings from where you can get them in a match. She's doing good things from the back, Harriet. I think lean into that and let that feed other areas of your game. I promise it's not contagious.
Katie Boulter will certainly be hoping so. 6th double fault of the match. Goodness me.
15-40.
Was pulled out of that shot.
I think that's where it just shows that she's just not feeling certain of maybe exactly what she's doing out there. She might be feeling a little bit lost in her direction, and when you don't commit to the shots, that's where you can make these errors which look like, oh, she didn't know quite what she was doing.
Boulter is challenging the call on the left far sideline. Ball was called in.
Like it was approaching the far sideline at a rate of knots. The dart contingent don't like it.
40.
I think that's a good challenge because obviously off that ball, a lot of chalk will have come up, and that's why chalk isn't always an indicator that a ball is in.
We've learnt our lesson. But she has.
New balls, please.
A break back immediately, Harriet Dart. And she's now a game away from levelling this match, the British number 2.
To 1 second set.
What a topsy-turvy contest it's been. I know you say this is just a match, Joe.
You keep pulling me up on it.
It feels a lot more than that. It feels there's a lot more at stake between these two than that.
Unfortunately, you're not going to convince me otherwise, but keep going.
How else can you explain the tennis?
15 left.
I mean,
There's a lot of tension out there.
yes, but I think it's important to remember that both of these players will have played matches like this elsewhere in the season. I think, understandably so, there's a massive magnifying glass on the Wimbledon Championships, on especially this contest between the two.
I feel I should explain the laughter. You see, a little bird has landed, and it's a game of cat and mouse going on with the ball kids.
There's probably some good little grubs out there. That's why they keep coming down.
Well, If you could land anywhere in southwest London,
Yes.
softest landing is surely.
Still thinking of it.
There he goes. Up and out and into the sunshine.
Let's first serve. Let the serve.
I'm afraid he's back.
I mean, who are we to say that? Who are we to stand between him and his lunch?
It's nature.
Really?
He belongs here more than all the tennis does.
I was just about to say, and we can just see it in front of us here in the commentary box. Of it would be good to see Katie Boulter just bouncing around a little bit. I think she's kind of gone a little bit flat.
Dart has got her eye in on these ground strokes. Swinging for the lines.
30-15.
There we go. Who saw that coming after set one? Harriet Dart steamrollers the British #1 to take the second set. 6-1. What a second set. Boulter is heading off for a visit to the restrooms. And we can reflect on what a remarkable turnaround in this match, Joe.
Well, yes, I think purely from the perspective of, I think Harriet's turned it a little bit around. I think Katie was pretty similar, albeit I think actually maybe her level did drop a bit, but I think that actually came a lot from, she looked just a bit physically flatter. She wasn't moving around as much, kind of in between points. I didn't feel from the side here, I mean, again, I'm behind a sheet of glass, but I didn't feel as much energy. Whereas Harriet, I think, did a good job in I think mentally and emotionally turning that around a bit. She spent a lot of time in that first set, I think, in the space of being upset and focusing a little bit on that frustration in what wasn't going well.
She's over underneath her player's box having a chat with Olga Morozova, her coach, temporary coach, we understand, but...
And I think it's important to recognise here as well, in the summary, is that the unforced errors were a lot higher on Katie Boulter's side, and actually Harriet has been able to pull hers down, that it wasn't as much. But I'm pleased to see that second serve points one it's still coming in strong for me.
Yep, that's the indication. Oh my goodness me. Did you see during the Harriet Dart first round match against by Jojuan, there was an interruption because a champagne cork flew.
Oh, was that what just fell?
That's just fallen from the ceiling of court one as well, another champagne cork.
I thought I saw something.
Corks are popping for Dart fans once again, because the match is now level. 6-1 for Harriet Dart. There was a rain delay, there was the champagne cork, it was all kinds of drama for Harriet Dart. Katie Boulter now making a return to No.1 Court. And a little bit more spring in the step, Joe. That's what you were hoping to see from Katie, a bit more bounce.
I think it's really important because when there isn't much energy created within the match itself, when it's a rather cold match, you almost have to artificially inject it yourself in around the points.
There's trouble.
Oh, he almost flew into a commentary box if he had the chance, I think. You're welcome here.
Katie Boulter normally so good at generating that energy for herself. She's normally fist pumps, positivity, slapping her thigh. She led us into a secret Eastbourne that she's normally just faking it till she makes it.
And that's a really important part of it. It is true, because bouncing around like this, it won't necessarily come comfortably. You're just trying to get energy out of yourself to raise your level.
15 left.
And this is now a shootout. A one-set duel for a place in the third round. Darts up the positivity as well.
30-15.
Such a shame. I'm ready.
Of the match.
First game, final set.
Boulter takes the first game of this decider.
Funny enough, I think Katie probably should have won that point a little bit earlier, but it almost worked in her favour that she didn't, just because she was able to inject that emotion into it. That was the first kind of real game in quite a while that we've had some presence from her.
There was that indecision, wasn't there, when she came in?
With that slice, she pushed it a bit deep and almost wasn't sure, I think, what she wanted to do with that ball. But again, it worked in her favour, and I think it's great that she was able to get that big come on out.
30 love.
Just a quick look at the defensive strength of Harriet Dart. 9 out of 15 points won, 60% stolen
40 love.
from Katie Boulter.
The bucket hat. Once again, we've talked quite a lot about the bucket hat.
The ubiquitous bucket hat. Stepping in on that one, giving it the business.
40-15.
Two good returns now from Katie Boulter.
40-30.
Huge roar from Harriet Dart. She could sense Boulter creeping up on her there.
1 game all, final set.
Again, I think it's positive to see just these first 2 games have been a bit more competitive. It's nice to see Katie in that return game just playing more balls in. There's been longer rallies.
It's long. Harriet Dart hanging in.
15 on.
Asking question after question of Boulter.
I think for now, Harriet is just doing a good job of keeping in her lane. She knows that Katie is still spraying balls, and she stepped up to the plate since Katie has started to make a few more in this 3rd set. Well handled from Katie there. It was one of those awkward overhead balls. That wasn't quite an overhead, wasn't quite a volley. It was in between the two. She found a good angle.
And coming straight out of the sun as well. Dazzling.
News. Advantage, Boulter. Yeah,
wow.
Boulter.
A bullet from Boulter to hold serve. Still on serve in this decider.
Boulter leads by 2-1 final set.
Much more decisive hitting from Katie Boulter there, Joe. I just wondered, that second guessing we've kind of seen from her, those moments of indecision. Is that the kind of thing you'd expect from a player who's playing somebody that they know really well? You'd think that the game plan would be really easy to formulate against somebody who you watch, you know, training for the Billie Jean King Cup together. You know, you've grown up playing tennis together.
I mean, I don't think it's actually specifically linked to the opponent. I think it's more to do with how you're feeling in yourself. That feeling of second guessing, that feeling of maybe feeling a bit lost out there. You know, I think it's one of those things that also ebbs and flows in a match. I think you go through moments of feeling very clear, very comfortable, to then moments of, oh, actually the game is slightly changed. I'm always a big fan of talking about matches that they don't start and end in the same way. It is a game of chess out there. You constantly, you go in with an idea and you go in with kind of what you're trying to do, but then you are constantly adapting to your opponent as well, and things happen out there. It's not scripted.
It's so compelling to watch.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Serve Harriet dart, 71 miles an hour.
I was going to say that I think that showed quite a bit of stress in there for it to be kind of that slow, that soft in the middle of the box. Katie will be looking to take advantage of that.
15.
It's a very ferocious sneeze.
You know what? I call it the dad sneeze. Does anyone else's dad have these really frightening sneezes?
Let Fessa.
My father has it, and I feel like my husband has gotten it since becoming a dad.
Must be a rite of passage.
I think so.
A rite of nasal passage.
Yes.
Couldn't quite pick up what Harriet Dart wanted to say to Tom Sweeney there. There's nothing he can do about sneezing.
No, can't. Hold it. Also needs to keep on the business side of this. That's what brought her some good things in that second set.
Crowd sensing this could be a turning point, a decisive point.
We have seen that quite a lot today. I've just we spoke about before, just that forehand lifting a little bit. She's not quite staying over it enough. Therefore, the ball is flying just off the racket a bit too much.
Has thrown away her breakpoint chances.
News.
Stuff from Harriet Dart.
Advantage, Dart.
Harriet does do a really good job in moving up quickly in the court, and therefore she has enough time to then hold the ball and wait for her opponent to move, hit it into the open space.
Lovely backhand down the line from Katie Boulter.
Yes.
Timed it perfectly.
Second serve from Harriet there.
Advantage.
She'll be
Dart.
clocking 68 miles per hour. I think Katie will be obviously frustrated that she didn't make more of a solid stance on that.
If you were Dart, though, you'd be targeting that Boulter forehand side. Oh, just sitting up for her.
News.
She'd done the hardest part.
These are always tricky, especially when there's a little bit of a breeze in the bowl of the court. It just does make that ball move around that much more. Oh, she got it.
Advantage Boulter.
There's not much disguise on that drop shot. Plenty of height over the net, and in comes Boulter. Strokes it away.
I think Harriet was questioning why is she playing that.
Going for the forehand. That's where the Boulter errors are coming from.
News.
It's another service hold battle. Harriet Dart, 8.5 minutes.
Advantage Dart.
You can almost feel the lack of trust that Katie has on the forehand side now. It's almost exasperating the problem.
It's a bit more like it. Found the sweet spot.
I think that's
Yes.
where Katie needs to lean into her mantra of faking it till you make it. You got to just keep trusting your shots. I mean, you know you can hit a forehand, and in Harriet's case, you know you can hit your serve. You've done it millions of times now.
Thought, didn't it?
Advantage Dart.
Thought about it.
Did look like the net gods was like, who's deserving right now?
There it is again. Dart, after about nearly a quarter of an hour, holds her serve. Nothing between these two in this deciding set.
2 games all, final set.
Oh, the squeal of frustration from Dart. She's laughing at herself.
15 left.
Thank you. Tommy.
Sorry. 15 all.
Absolutely lovely. Every decibel of that cheer earned by Harriet Dart.
15-30.
Backhand was getting a pummeling from Boulter.
And I think also she just was aware of where Katie was in the court. Also, Harriet had moved in. I think it was just good awareness of what was happening out there. Great response. I was actually just thinking there in that point, there was that slightly higher ball that came off
15-40.
Harriet's racket, and I feel like in the first set, Katie would have been straight up there to hit it as a drive volley. It's very easy to say that from here. However, I wonder if that kind of uncertainty's leaching through a little bit still in her shot-making, decision-making.
First of the 2 break points is saved.
30-40.
Two good serves from Boulter. Advantage does. Another opportunity.
interestingly, again, I'm surprised that Katie didn't take that ball out of the air. This is where I always find it so funny. It's so easy to comment on it from the outside, but you just don't know.
Sloppy again on the forehand.
Advantage does.
Can dart break this time.
Let pistol.
Shot from dart, just slightest kiss of the ball as it flew by at 106 miles an hour.
Checked off the line. Sometimes when it does land on the chalk, it does check the ball, which just slightly alters its trajectory, its movement.
She's going to have a fifth chance here, Harriet Dart.
Advantage does.
How many more can Boulter see off? It's another never-ending service game.
Advantage. Boulter.
Three hours, 13 minutes, their last meeting in Nottingham. This one's already hit the 2-hour mark.
I don't think we'll quite make it to there, seeing as where we are now in the match.
The service game still isn't over.
News.
You never know, Joe. What a tussle this is turning into.
It's just about who can stay that much more solid at the right time. really some brave tennis there.
Advantage Boulter.
Oh my goodness me, we go on.
News.
Now it's Dart's turn to celebrate.
Advantage Darts. Out.
Oh, that's huge for Harriet Dart. Boulter's going to challenge it. It was Tom Sweeney from the chair who made the call, and it is. And Harriet Dart has wrestled the advantage in this deciding set.
Dart leads by 3-2 final set. Katie Boulter has
Massive
2
game.
challenges remaining.
It really was, and I mean, so little on it.
Harriet Dart now just a picture of concentration. It's those errors flying in from Boulter at the crucial points. Boulter just seriously under pressure from Dart, her defensive work throughout that game.
I think Harriet is just doing what needs to be done right now in the situation, and that is to make Katie play on that forehand side currently, and make her feel like she needs to win these points, because currently Katie is struggling to just stay solid out there, and I think Harriet is doing a good job at exploiting that weakness currently.
Time.
Body language-wise, a bit of a difference between both players coming out. I'm sure she could hear what Alex de Minaur was saying to her there, but studiously ignoring the box. Katie Boulter has to focus here.
I think this is where it's so important for Katie to to not get resigned, to stay engaged, stay activated. She's still very much in this match, and she wouldn't not play, but it's just to really actively stay engaged in what you're trying to do out there, physically activate your body. And ultimately, you don't want these big swing of run of points in quick succession.
Game darts.
Really straightforward for Harriet Dart on serve. She's just a couple of games away from a return
Games to 2.
to the third round for the first time since 2019. Some furrowed brows in the Boulter box.
Katie Boulter, challenge ball, right baseline ball was called out.
The official measurement is just 1 millimetre.
15-all, Katie Boulter has 1 challenge remaining. .30. .30-40.
Good effort from both players. Harry in the defence, but again, nice to see Katie building her point out. And just again, looking more decisive in that point in what she wants to do out there.
Advantage, Boulter.
Oh, Katie Boulter just didn't have the legs.
That was a great forehand cross-court from Harriet, really cutting the sideline, opening up the court so broadly for Katie to cover, which she just wasn't able to.
Advantage, Boulter.
Too long. And Boulter can breathe.
That leads by 4-3, final set.
Another tense hold of serve for Katie Boulter.
But this is obviously at the stage you just want to stay in touch. This is where nerves can also play a part at the end. We spoke about the question mark around how Harriet has been serving when she's asked the question of serving it out, things like that. I think this is, I mean, isn't it called crunch time?
Crunch time.
Isn't that what it's called?
That's definitely what it's called. For both players. For Harriet Dart, she's spoken about wanting to put right the things that she did wrong in Nottingham where she lost to Katie. She was obviously delighted with the way she played there, but she's been determined to come out and put those mistakes right.
I mean, so far in the match, Harriet has been dealing with the coldness of the match with both players. Actually, I don't think either player will be particularly pleased with how they're playing out here, but I think Harriet has just done better. She has found her level a bit more as this match has gone on. It'll be interesting to see how she's able to deal with this service game here, having almost had that big breathing space.
Thank you.
Not quite the case now. Still a break though. It's a great change of direction.
Love 15.
Again, just a bit braver tennis, trusting her shots a bit more, which is going to be so key for her to be effective against Harriet and also to make more balls. The more you trust your shots, the more consistent they seem to become.
15.
Funny how that works.
I think that you're right, though, Jo. It's a bit of trust from Katie in her game.
Which is a lot harder to do when you're not feeling great, but Katie's saying, you know, fake it till you make it. That's the perfect example of that.
They can sense it, can't they? Half a chance here. Opportunity. Looks even better for Katie Boulter.
Again, that second serve only clocking 66 miles per hour. That is very much on the slower side.
Boulter forehand saves the first. Saves the second the same way. She's worked that out, Harriet Dart. She's really connected with that one, Katie Boulter. Bursts of brilliance from the British #1.
Left second serve.
She's got it. Boulter breaks back. It's game on once more.
Mental final
has
set.
disappeared into her towel. This end of the court, right in front of our commentary box, just taking a moment. Wipe away the disappointment. Huge moment for Katie Boulter, seizing a bit of momentum, taking an opportunity. Been few and far between for her over the last set and a half.
Funny enough, I actually completely disagree. I think she's had loads of opportunities. I think she just hasn't played consistently well enough. And I do think Harriet has actually done a good job when she's had those moments against her, that she's played maybe a little bit smarter, serving those first serves to that Katie Boulter forehand, as it's not firing so well. But I think both women have created loads of opportunities for themselves, which is ultimately what you have to do.
Black second set.
That forehand there has been an accurate representation of what she has been struggling with on that forehand side.
Could that record be about to change this afternoon? Absolute pistol.
It's kind of that sweaty palm moment of a match, isn't it?
Yeah. Sensing a lot more positivity from Katie Boulter. More sparkle from the British #1. 5 games to 4 on serve in this deciding set.
Boulter leads by 5 games to 4 final set.
That's a really good effort from Katie, just finding some bravery and just a good run of points when she really needed it most. There, I mean, she definitely was going line, I think, but it definitely skidded through the ball, so it was well handled with her hands there.
Just watching Harriet dart, gesticulating over at her camp.
I think she's very disappointed, I think, from losing that 4-2 lead, but
she's not out of this, though. She doesn't need to look so despondent.
no, I think that's where maybe she struggled a little bit, especially in that first set of... I think there's some frustrated,
Angry tears.
Yeah.
They were angry tears.
I think this is where Harriet has struggled. She's gotten really involved emotionally in the negative parts of the match, and there's ultimately always going to be negative parts. The more you can keep your distance from it, the more energy you can give to the areas that will benefit you. Arguably, I'd say Katie Boulter has spent more time in a quote-unquote not playing well compared to Harriet, and I think actually Katie has stayed reasonably positive, albeit it would have been nice to see more physical energy from her throughout the match. But it's interesting to see the two women deal with the disappointment that they're both obviously feeling out there so differently.
Even Boulter's beginning to gesticulate at her camp now.
Out. (30-15).
Sitting up for Boulter for the taking.
40-15.
62 miles an hour.
Game darts.
Well, who's going to step up and take this one?
5 games all, final set.
Boulter going for a change of weapon. As you say, Joe is getting into that sweaty palm stage. Who blinks first? To the pointy end, the deciding set.
30 love.
Every so often we do just see a better point from both players, but this time coming out on top for Katie Boulter. But it has been a bit few and far between throughout this whole match. It's been quite patchy.
Right at the feet of Boulter, she was right there.
I think the call was a little bit late. Which might be why Harriet was just checking with the umpire.
$40-15.
Lovely.
It's good to see that. I feel like we haven't seen enough initiative taken from Harriet, albeit it's either been a combination of errors or Katie taking the upper foot in a point. It's nice to see Harriet step in there because she is capable of doing that.
Just when you think Katie Boulter is edging ahead. Right, Harriet Dart. What have you got? Sticking in the longest rally of the match.
What a time to have it.
Deuce.
The intensity of that point. Breathless stuff.
Advantage Boulter.
And she has.
Boulter.
Hugely important hold of serve for Katie Boulter, and that piles immense pressure on the faltering serve of Harriet
Boulter leads
Dart.
by 6-5, final set.
Boulter with her nose in front on the scoreboard. How important will that prove when Dart comes out to serve to stay in this match, Joe?
I mean, I'm just glad to see both players are playing better. There is just more interest in the points, which is nice because at least it makes for a climatic finale, and it wouldn't have been easy to find. So I think this is, thanks to the situation of the match, it does bring out generally the best in players. But it's nice to see that both players are here at the end.
Yeah, they're glued to the screens on the hill behind No.1 Court. Good to see that the jackets and woolly hats are off. Temperatures rising in southwest London. While it hasn't been the highest quality match, it's been one that you can't take your eyes off for a minute. Can Harriet Dart's serve keep her in this match?
15 left.
It's going okay so far.
I think this is where Katie will be kicking herself a little bit and just make those returns, get the ball in play. But sometimes when a serve is coming reasonably slow, it's actually quite hard to adjust to the ball effectively.
left.
In which case, Dart has judged this pretty well.
I don't think her service speed is on a tactical decision.
Jan Dart.
So it's going to be a heartbreaker either way.
6 games on, final set. Ladies and gentlemen, a 10-point tiebreak will be played to decide the match.
Who saw this coming? After 2 hours and 41 minutes. Boulter with the first blood.
1-0 Boulter. 2-1.
Mini break going the way of Katie Boulter. How's your lip reading, Joe?
Terrible. Yours?
I can't tell what she's saying. Don't think she's very happy with herself. Break back for Dart.
2-all.
Two titles for Boulter this season. Dart can't make that one.
It's a great get from both players. Harriet was running down that first volley and Katie Boulter with covering on that backhand volley.
3-2 Boulter.
Boulter with the advantage. At the change of ends, is the writing on the wall for Harriet Dart. Do the tactics change, Joe, when it comes to a match tie-break and it's all or nothing?
Well, I think this is where you, if ever you're going to really knuckle down on taking care of the simple things, your serve, your return, this is the time to do it. You want to really eliminate as much loose errors as possible and really ask your opponent to hang in there with you and to ultimately play better than you. Nerves decide tiebreakers so often.
Harriet Dart looks a little emotional again. To find some belief.
Just a big gust of wind just blew through there.
She's got it. Boulter was walking with squarer shoulders.
5-2 Boulter. 6-2, Boulter.
Harriet Dart trying to block out the noise. Can see she's struggling here, Harriet Dart.
Let her serve.
Thank you.
Into the middle of the net from Boulter. Dart's not out of this.
6-3, Boulter.
Difference, though, Joe, in body language is stark.
It is, and I think this is where the emotions are. It can be overwhelming, and they obviously are a little bit right now for Harriet. This is the space where
6-4,
you almost have to park your desires and your wants, your dreams, and all those things combined, and kind of leave it at the door a little bit and just make it about the tennis.
Doesn't sound easy.
It's not. But there is a lot of tennis left to be played here, and I think if Harriet can stay in touch, it's not a simple whitewash for Katie here. I mean, Katie's been struggling with her own form. Again, if both players can just take care of the simple things, they present the opportunity to each other to crumble.
It's been one of those matches. From Boulter, opening the door for Harriet Dart to barge her way back into this. Sound.
6-all.
Look at that scoreline. Approaching 3 hours on court. Boulter on the attack.
Boulter.
She was on the front foot from the get-go in that point.
7-all.
Sneezing at the worst time possible. Sneezing at the worst time possible.
At least it wasn't a dad sneeze.
Tried to make it a very dainty one.
So edgy. Dart has the lead. A tie-break for the first time.
8-7, Dart.
Tears have dried now. It's out. What a point. With so much at stake.
It's nice to see Harriet's reaction after that point, actually. Not too much disappointment. I think she recognises that was a good point from both of them.
It's another error from Boulter. How costly will that be?
You could just see the way Katie Boulter just pulled up on it. It's just what she really struggled with this whole match.
Harriet Dart, the ball's in hand. Match point for the British number 2. She's got it! It's Harriet Dart's day!
2 sets to 1, 4-6.
She steps out of the shadows and steals the spotlight on the biggest stage. The British number 2 beats the British number 1. Not the highest quality match, but intense, compelling, hard-fought, doggedly determined from Harriet Dart.